How are you?
Hello. I'm so good. How are you?
I'm good. Wow, this is like new technology for me.
Yeah, I find that I thought I understood it, and the more I use it, I'm like, oh, okay, they're different anyway, ways of
Yeah,
using it. So
it's exciting. It's like I feel like I'm accomplished. I don't have to do anything else today. I did this, so this is it. I'm good.
oh. Well, thank you so much. I know you're very busy and we tried finding different times, and you were really patient working with me. So I appreciate your time here today.
No problem. So what are we going to
Um,
talk about?
yeah, well, I mean, I just want to celebrate you and your work. I love everything you're doing, and I just people already know about you and your work, but I just want to share it in kind of a different way, maybe with this video, and uh, yeah, just see what you're working on and what you have going on, really.
Okay.
Do
So
you do you want to introduce yourself for, like, maybe just where you are, and maybe how people might know you?
okay. So I used to live in New York, but now I live in Milwaukee, Oregon, which is kind of like if this is Portland right here, we're just sandwiched right below Portland. So I'm 5 minutes away from Portland.
Cool.
Which is really great. We have a beautiful waterfront, and it's sort of a little rustic. You know, there's a lumber mill in town, which is kind of cool. Um, and I write books for kids, and I illustrate books for kids. And my favorite thing to make is comics. So,
Ah, okay.
yeah, but I've done other stuff. I've done chapter books, I've done picture books, but I think I'm going to try to focus mostly on comics now.
Oh, interesting.
So I'm more excited about that. Yeah, I had sort of like this break where I haven't done anything for about a year,
Hmm.
because of other things happening, and I just sort of refocused and sort of thought that noise in the background is my corgi who's
Oh, you're
chewing
good.
on a
Ah,
toy.
oh,
He's like, stop. This is kind of annoying. Sorry.
you're good.
So yeah, so I'm just going to focus on doing the stuff I really like to do, which is the comic format. So I have a
Very
couple
cool.
projects coming up that I'm working on that I'm excited about. So that's what I'm doing.
Oh, I love it. Thank you. Yeah. So my introduction to you and your work. You've made more than 50 books. Is that right?
Yeah, I think so. I
Jeez,
haven't counted, but yeah, there's a lot.
that's a lot of books. Yeah.
Yeah.
Uh, so I must have caught you part way through all these books because I think Fashion Kitty was at the library, and the Orem Library here in Utah, where I am, has just a wonderful selection. They're just really on top of new, current, wonderful titles, and I came across it, and I loved it for myself, and then my daughter, I've gotten to read it with my daughter and Crafty Cat, and those are comics, and that was my introduction to your work, so that's kind of
Oh,
appropriate.
that's great. Well, speaking of Fashion Kitty, dun, dun,
Yeah.
dun, they're re-releasing it. So it was out of
Oh,
print,
cool.
but now it's coming back. As like they're bundling two together. So this is the new cover. I just got the proof for it. So yeah, that comes out this fall. So I'm super excited.
Oh,
She'll be back
congratulations.
on the shelf.
Yes.
Yeah, so
Oh,
it's
that's
pretty.
awesome.
Yeah, I'm really excited.
Well, do you yeah, I kind of want to leave I mean, if you want me to ask questions or whatever, that's great, but if you have stuff you're working on, these comics you're talking about, anything you feel comfortable sharing, I'd
Yeah,
love to see it. Yeah.
I can tell you. I just finished a graphic novel called Bad Sister, and it's like 220 pages. I'm not illustrating it because it needs somebody who can draw in perspective, and that's not me because I draw like more, flat
Oh, I
characters.
love it. Yeah.
But it's a true sort of autobiographical story of all the bad things I did to my brother growing up.
Mm.
So Bad Sister, all the things I did to him, and
Wow.
sort of like a giant big apology, I guess, in a way.
Aw.
But he's a second grade teacher, and I grew up in Vancouver, Canada, so he lives there. And he tells his students all the time all the things I did to him. I mean, I wasn't like horrible, but I wasn't a nurturing big sister. And he tells them, you know, and they were like, God, no, she never did that. She never did that. So he's excited to have the book so he can hold it and say, look, proof, she did do this. See?
Oh my gosh.
Fine. So I'm hoping to do some events with him because I think that would be really fun when the book comes out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then, then you can mess with them in all sorts of new ways.
Exactly. That's fantastic. I'm gonna hold on to that thought. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So that's really exciting. And then what else am I doing? I'm doing a book for Disney. I have 3 books for them about, it's called Pepper and Boo, and it's about my dogs and my cat. So the cat's the really smart one, of course, and the dogs are just never understanding what the cat's doing, and so they're constantly befuddled by what's going on in the world because this cat seems to have it all together. And it's just, you know, the cat doesn't care, but they're just sort of they're almost like the dogs of conspiracy theory, right? They sort of feel like this is what must be going on because we don't understand. And the cat's like, I'm just being a cat. That's the way it goes.
Oh my gosh,
so
I love it.
That's kind of a younger kind of graphic novel hybrid kind of thing, which is really fun. And then I'm also going to be working on a graphic novel that's it's sort of like I would say like a third nonfiction, and the rest of it is comics that are fiction, like mini comics about embarrassment, how to overcome different different situations of embarrassment for kids.
Oh, interesting.
Which is surprisingly, I've been doing a lot of school visits lately, and I was just in Central Oregon with a bunch of 5th graders, and I was telling them about this project. I'm like, does anybody have an embarrassing story? And I figured, you know, there'd be like 2 or 3 people with their hands up. My gosh,
Sure.
There's like 150 kids, and I swear, like 80 of them had their hands up. And they were saying these most horrible things out loud in front of all the other kids. I couldn't believe it. I was like, oh my gosh, you're telling us this? And everybody's listening, and they just couldn't wait to share their stories of being embarrassed. And a lot of them there's a lot of people that go through plate glass windows, apparently. You know,
really?
Sliding door windows. Yeah, I had at least 5
gosh.
that were like running full bore and then hitting the window and being embarrassed in front of everybody. But some of the stories were pretty horrific. So I was like, oh, maybe I won't include that one. But it's fun. And I like talking to the kids. That's my favorite thing to do when I go to visits, just sort of chatting with them and stuff.
How do you do that? Do you just have questions related to your books? Do you just kind of have a conversation about the theme? Like, how do you open that up?
Well, I usually do a presentation because I like visuals. So I have a lot of visuals that I show them. And then throughout we talk, you know, from the beginning. And I have this trick that I use because I did, because I'm assuming that I come in and they sort of know I'm an author, but they don't think I'm very cool or anything. It's just like, you know, I could be like someone's mom, right? Oh, who's this woman? She's like somebody's mom. So one of the first things I show them is like a SpongeBob comic that I did. Yeah. And that's kind of like wait, she's maybe a little more interesting than we thought. She did a comic for SpongeBob magazine. And so that's kind of like the icebreaker, right? After that, they're like, oh, okay. Well, then maybe she's interesting. Maybe we'll listen to what she has to say. So I feel like you got to get them with something.
Yeah, for sure. What age group do you usually present for?
It's usually like kindergarten through 6th grade. Not so much, you know, beyond 6th grade. Which is okay, because once you get into 7th and 8th grade, they sort of sit there and don't say anything. So it's really intimidating for the person doing the talk, because even if they are enjoying it, nobody shows it. You know, they're sort of like, too cool. So that makes me nervous. So I'd rather the sweet spots like 3, 4, 3rd, 4th graders. So for me.
Oh, that's a good idea. How do you oh, sorry, go ahead.
Oh, no, sorry. Go ahead. I didn't understand. I couldn't hear you. Sorry.
Oh, okay. Gosh, I'm just curious. I couldn't keep track if that was 3 or 4 books that are in process right now. How do you, I don't know. How do you get through them all? How do you meet deadlines for all 3 or 4 of them? And then also, how do you, work through the ideas for each of them without getting burnt out or, I don't know. It seems like a lot to handle.
Cross contamination.
Yeah. That's good.
Well, the graphic novel I've already done, so I'm finished that, and I don't have to illustrate it. So that is going to be somebody else's illustrating it, and so I'll see sketches, and so then I just have to review sketches and make sure everything looks okay. So that's easy. And then the ones for Disney, about my pets, those are written, so I have to illustrate those. So that's different. That's a different part of your brain that works, I think, for me. Like I can illustrate in the evening and in the afternoon, but I can only write in the morning. So, so then the one about embarrassment, I haven't written that yet. So that's going to be my morning project. And then in the afternoon, I can write it. So I'm they're sort of staggered, you know, they're at different levels. And so I could never write two things at the same time. So yeah, they're at different levels. So that makes it easier. So I have like a morning thing I can do. I have an afternoon thing I could do. And then when the sketches come in, I can look at those. So that's pretty much full. Like I can't do another one. So now. So.
Yeah, that's a lot. Wow, I'm very impressed. I mean, like that's something I was thinking about is like, here you are, 50 plus books. You've got a handful of other books all lined up, ready to go. I would think that a lot of people probably would have run out of ideas at this point. You know?
Well, I don't know. I mean, I think if you've been doing something for a long time, I think you are always looking through the lens of that thing when you're looking at things around you, right? So I mean, I guess the way to say that would be like, imagine these are the children's book glasses, right? I'm wearing them all the time. Every time I look at something or I hear something, I think of it in terms of, would that be a good kid's book? And it just naturally, it doesn't really, I don't have to think about, oh, would that, you know, it's just sort of like my kids joke with me now. Every time somebody says something and they see a certain look in my face, they're like, book idea. They yell it, right? And it's like true because I'm always thinking, oh, that would be a good book idea. Oh, that would be a good book idea. I mean, it's easy to think of a book idea. The hard part is like putting in the work and making it make sense. And that's the part that, I mean, one of the things I talk to the kids when I go visit schools is, I maybe have done this many books, right? But I've actually written this many books because my job really is writing crappy books, because I write a lot of books that never get published and are bad ideas and aren't thought through correctly. And this is the amount that makes it to the shelf, and this is the amount that I do. So, you know, I say what's my occupation? It's a writer of bad books, because that's what I do best. You know, occasionally I have some that go through, but really, you know, I write a lot of books that don't make sense, or I have a lot of ideas that I just can't make work, or characters that I want to put somewhere, and I just, you know, I've tried. I mean, I have characters from years ago that I've just never been able to make work. So I don't know. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't.
That's interesting. I don't know, just personally, I guess I'll slip in real quick. I'm at a place where I've like my last 4 or 5 books that I've pitched through my agent just haven't taken. And you know, it's a lot of work to make a pitch.
Yeah, for sure.
You got to get far enough along so they know what it is, but you can't finish it because there'll be changes and all that. So anyway, I was just curious, like if you faced like stretches of, I don't know, rejection, or just like for yourself seeing like, this isn't working. And then how do you push through that and just go on to the next idea?
Yeah, I mean, I've had the same thing. I mean, I had like a year and a half of like nothing. I mean, I wasn't sort of emotionally ready to be working right a while ago, but I did have a long stretch of nothing. And then I had books that I've been working on, and then I reworked them, and then my agent's like, okay, and then we sent it out and people didn't like it. So then like rework it in a different way, because they didn't want me to abandon the idea. And then I have one that I've been working on, I swear, for like 2 years. I cannot get this book to work. There's like something in the end that just is so close, and I just can't get the right thing. And I've tried it so many different ways, and it's just like, I just got to let it sit for a bit, I guess. I don't know. But it's frustrating. I mean, especially because you think, you know, it's your idea, so you love it, but sometimes it's really humbling to think that you love a really bad idea. And I guess I do sometimes, just like ideas that, or maybe people don't understand them because how they're going to work out, or maybe it's just not something that the market wants. I don't know. There's probably tons of reasons why it's not working, but it's really hard not to take it personally, for sure.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
especially if you've done books and you publish books, you figure I should be good at this. Why am I still sucking at this? Why do I have to work so hard? I have like published so many books. How come I can't just whip one out? Like, what's wrong with me?
Yeah.
You know, it's like, it's like, have I lost it? You know, so I definitely have those feelings too, for sure. Which is why I do something that I do my embroidery, because it makes me feel better.
Yeah. Do you mind if I show some of those from your page? Can I?
No, go ahead. I also brought them over here too.
Oh, you did? Okay. Well, let me just show right here. There's Charise Harper. That's her. Whoops. Her Instagram right there. But yeah, if you have them right there, let's look.
Yeah. So I guess this is one of them.
Oh man.
And then where's the bird? Oh, the bird's over here. I guess the bird's right there. So yeah. So and then that's another one. This is gray. I sort of like this monochromatic thing here.
Yeah.
This is a gray guy that I did. And they all have words because, you know, as a storyteller, I always want some kind of word situation going on. This is the one I'm working on now. So you can see it in process.
Wow.
So, I mean, that's kind of what it looks like. And then close up. I'm trying to see if you can see that. And then, you know, there's parts that aren't done yet, but then there's little parts I'm working on. I'm working on that flower thing now. So I was thinking about that today because you asked me to show those, and I was thinking, why did I choose that? Because I like handwork. I like making things, but why did I choose this thing? And I think the reason is I picked something that is super slow. I can't go fast, so I have to sort of it's like a meditative thing. Generally, sort of a hyperactive kind of person. I need to be doing something constantly, like fidget a lot and stuff. So it's really calming. Yeah. And then also I put so much work into it that it cannot be something that I sell. It can't be, you know, I can't really turn this into like a product. You know, everyone's like, what are you going to do with them? I'm like, I don't know. I just make them. So I can't really turn it into something because I think once it becomes a product, then it's not a hobby. And I kind of want it just a hobby. So, and I think for me, there's a big difference between like a hobby and like a job. And so I draw for a job. And so I don't find drawing with the same tools that I use for a job as satisfying as like it's a relaxing thing. I find that I need to be doing something different. So I don't know. So this is what I picked.
No,
Plus my mom used to embroider. So it's kind of like, you know, it's kind of a thing that she used to do. So maybe you get to show them or something sometime. But I've started to incorporate, I really love hardware stores and old machinery and stuff. So I've started to incorporate like these resistors I got right here, which is really fun.
Cool.
So I've just been collecting those, and, you know, other people use beads. I thought I would use hardware supplies.
I love it. That's so cool.
Because I don't think anybody else is doing that. I don't know, maybe not yet. So I'm a trendsetter.
That's incredible. Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's fun.
Yeah. I love all the textures and the colors and obviously your characters and the lettering and everything. There's just so much to love about them.
Yeah, and they're really fun to, I mean, not like I want everyone to touch them, but they're really fun to touch.
Yeah,
like there's something tactile about them that you want to like rub your hands over it, kind of. It's cool. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh man, thank you for sharing those.
Yeah. Hopefully I'll, you know, by next year I'll have like 3 more done.
Yeah.
Because they take forever.
Yes. Well, no, that's really cool, and I hear that from a lot of creators that they have like a creative hobby on the side, just, you know, for mental health or just as an escape, and I think that's great.
Yeah, and I find that it makes me more patient too, and I love that it's something I can carry around. You know, like yesterday I had to go early to drop my son off to his music concert, so I could just sit there and embroider for like 20 minutes. It's not like I was on my. I don't find being on my phone relaxing, because especially Instagram, it's like I start seeing what everybody else is doing and I start getting really agitated. Like I should be working. Look at these people. They're producing all this stuff. How can they make so much stuff? Isn't it like frustrating? You're like looking and you're like, oh my gosh, how can they be so prolific and creative all the time? It just drives me crazy. And then I start hyperventilating and I got to turn it off and I feel like nauseous.
Yeah.
So I think the competitive nature social media really gets to me. So I sometimes just need to check out.
Yeah, no, that's great. And you're making wonderful stuff with that time. Do you keep a sketchbook?
I keep a notebook. I was keeping a sketch. So I was doing a sketchbook every morning instead of doing the embroidery for a while.
Okay.
And then I just felt the pressure to finish the sketch each day. So then I got to finish it. And then it was taking like an hour and a half or 2 hours. And that was eating into the time that I was supposed to be working, that I felt like I had to complete it. So that wasn't really working for me. So I stopped doing that. And now I just have like a notebook, which it's right here yet. I just write stuff down. And then sometimes I just doodle. I'm an obsessive doodler. So like, I'll just write stuff down and then I'll just I'll just doodle like crazy all over the page.
Oh, I love it.
But then I do like write notes and stuff. So, just a combination of whatever. A way to keep things organized. But yeah, no, I've stopped keeping a sketchbook since I started the embroidery. I just do that instead. Because I know I'm not going to finish. So it's like I can put it down. Because it's not like I'm feeling defeated. It's like, of course I won't finish that. So.
Yeah. Yeah, that's interesting. I was going to ask about Bad Sisters. Is that what it's called?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yes, I love the concept. I love that you are digging into your childhood and your relationship with your brother, and like telling a real story. And I'm guessing it gets pretty funny. It sounds like it would have to be, probably.
Yeah. I'm hoping it's funny. I think it's funny and it's sad and a little bit, and I hope people don't hate me afterwards.
Well, no,
it's awful.
I think that's amazing because I'm the oldest of 6. Okay.
Oh, all right. So you're a bad brother.
I mean, good brother. Yeah. You talk about sibling rivalries. I've had some experience, but for you to go out and just like, I'm guessing no one is asking or forcing you to do this. So the fact that you're coming out, what if you don't mind me asking, like, what kind of brought that on? Like, maybe I'll do a book of this, like, and put it out in the world.
I think having my own children, and they're not that different in age from my brother and I when we were young, and my daughter is definitely an awesome sister. I mean, she's so supportive and so nice, and seeing that and then thinking back on how I was not that at all, and I felt like I really have all through her journey been on top of her to be supportive to her younger, and she hasn't needed a lot of help. She's just a naturally empathetic, really sensitive, positive kid. But I just was realizing that, you know what, I just didn't do that, and I kind of felt bad about it. So, I thought, well, it is kind of this apology thing, I think, really, for me. And to show kids, and also to show kids that I think a lot of it was the fact that if you are one thing, like let's say, you do something, and as a kid I remember doing this, like doing something that I shouldn't have done, right? Doing a bad thing. Are you forever labeled as a bad person? And it's like, no, you can change, right? You don't have to be that thing. And so there's a lot of that in the story too, about just feeling that I was this thing and then I had to act in that certain way because that was my label. Yet, could I change that label? And would people believe that the label had changed? Could I, even though I thought I was changing myself now and I was going to be the good sister, but my past actions, were they bigger than my change? It's stuff like that. So the story is about a lot of different things like that. So hopefully that comes through, because a lot of kids maybe feel like they can't break out of what they've already decided. And I would want them to think that, yes, you can change. You can be different if you want. It could be a phase. Hopefully it's just a bad phase. So for me.
Yeah. Wow. That's powerful.
That's the kind of
excited.
Powerful. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, no, that's really amazing. I'm excited. So the artist is kind of working on the illustration
Yeah, I
side
haven't
right
seen
now.
any sketches yet.
Yeah,
I saw some preliminary sketches, which are really weird to see because he was
yeah, I
drawing
bet.
my brother, and I was like, oh my gosh, that's me. That's my brother. Oh my gosh. And then he was drawing, he did some sketches of our living room. I provided some photos and stuff. Like, oh my gosh, it's my living room. It's so I'm so excited. I mean,
Wow.
obviously, I want to, he has some freedom to do things that weren't there too, and
Sure.
that'll be really interesting because that'll be fun for me to see. And I'm totally expecting him to um, take that story and make parts of it his own too, which will be really interesting. Sort of
Hmm.
the way that he's going to see it and put it together is maybe different than the way I saw it, but I just really had fun writing it. Because when you write a graphic novel, you lay it out, right? You lay out, this is panel 1, panel 2, panel 3, panel 4, panel 5, and you say like, this is a close up of this, or this is, and I feel like since I've been doing comics for so long, my brain just like kind of works in that way.
Yeah.
It's really easy, and then you don't have to do all the middle stuff, which is so great about comics. You don't have to do the part of, oh, he walks into the room and he said, return to her, because that's all in a picture, so
Yeah.
it doesn't have to be said. And I just come off writing that I just come off writing this series, which is this next Best Junior Chef book. It's about cooking, and they had 4 characters, and there was a lot of visual things happening that I had to describe, and it was just really hard for me to do that. So to write something that didn't have any of that in it was like, oh my gosh, what a great relief. Um, so that was good.
Yeah, I get it. Wow. Wow. That's so cool. And like, it's cool to see that you are writing and illustrating as well as just doing writing for some books. Um, does that help you like process wise, like, and just to compartmentalize, like you were saying, you see the drawing, the preliminary sketches come in, and you light up over someone else's
Yeah, for
interpretation
sure. It's
of
like a present,
illustrations.
it's like a
Oh
present.
yeah.
Whereas if I work on a book and I did all the illustrations, it's like when I get the final book, I've already seen it so many times. It's like, oh, yeah, of course this is what it looks like.
Right.
It's almost like I don't even want to go through it again. It's like I've already been through this thing 20 times. And then and it's like, okay, here it is. Yay, it's my book. And then by the time I normally get a physical book, I'm actually working on something else that's more exciting. I'm
Yeah.
kind of like done with that.
Right.
So it's like,
Yeah.
I'm sure when I got my first, 2 or 3 books, I was really excited. But now it's like, I tell the kids the most fun part is making the book. Once the book is
Yeah.
made, it's like, that's great. I'm happy, but I'm more excited about the new book I'm making than the old book I can hold. So
Yeah. Sure.
otherwise I
Yeah.
wouldn't make any more books. I would just be like, okay, I'm done, finished.
Yeah. Oh, that's actually
Yeah, I'm
really
sure
good
it's the
to
same
hear.
for you, right? It's like so fun to make it. That's the fun part.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So wouldn't do
Like,
it.
yeah, I was just thinking like the whole idea phase when you're just starting to come up with, like, I mean, it's just all possibilities, and that's fun to just think of ideas and just explore and discover. And then like when you're making it, like, that's fun because you're fleshing it out, and you're using your media in maybe a different way, or trying a different technique or tool or something, and that's exciting. And then yeah, after that it's the edits and revisions, and you're kind of going back through what you've already done, and you're getting ideas for other stuff, and
Right.
time to wrap it up.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Uh,
not that I'm grateful. I mean, I love being published. It's fantastic. I mean, this is a great job. I don't know what else I would be
yeah.
qualified to do. Not much.
I love everything you do. Is it true? I saw on your website that your studio is an old food truck.
Yeah, I'm not there now. I'm in my sort of kitchen area, living room area. But yeah, it is. It's a I
Yeah.
bought a food truck and then had a contractor fix it up so I could have it as a studio. Because it's, we
That's
live in
so
a
cool.
really pretty part of the world and we get so many guests coming for summertime. And I
Mm.
have like a little guest room that I kind of use as an indoor studio. And so I'm kicked out of there all summer. So I needed a place to go. So I made this food truck and it's great. Nobody's allowed in there except me. So it's my space.
Good. Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Oh
It's really
man.
great. I'll be there all summer.
Well, oh, that's fantastic. No, that's wonderful. I wonder. Yeah. I don't want to take up too much of your time. I really appreciate you sharing all of this, and it's wonderful. I wonder if there's maybe something you could say, something that you share when you do school visits of, if kids are wondering like how to tell their own stories, or how do I get better at writing or drawing, what do you tell them?
Well, first I was, I didn't have video games when I was a kid, right? We didn't have any of that stuff. So
Okay.
to escape, I was like a really big reader and I was a really big imaginer. I would imagine just scenarios constantly, things happening or things that I wanted to happen, or maybe was really good at things I didn't want to happen as well. So really good worrier. But really good at imagining things, right? I guess if there's really I don't think I could be bored, right? I don't think I could be like, oh, there's nothing to do. And so I was really mindful of that with my own kids. I didn't like want to schedule them 24/7. I'm like, no, if you can't find something to do, too bad. You just go be bored then. And,
Yeah.
I think you just have to learn how to use those muscles, right? The muscles that are your creative muscles to make something out of nothing, and I think that's what storytelling is. The story is to try to make something out of nothing, or think. And it's really not nothing. It's all the little pieces that you experience are part of it, and they become part of it.
Yeah.
And I also feel like being able to finish something is really important. And so I feel like what was great for me is that I had a weekly comic strip for many years in some alternate papers in the US. And it just was like a little panel and had a beginning, middle, and end of whatever little, like it was usually about myself, like, or something I thought was interesting, like, trying to cross the street or something and not being able to because something was happening or whatever. But it would definitely have to tell some kind of story, right? And it was a small space. So all I had to do was finish this little story in this small space. And if you do that enough times, then you can move on to a bigger story. Because I think sometimes these kids are like, I'm going to write a 30-page book. And they start out, with the story, and they're drawing their comic. And they're like, oh, it's just too long. I can't finish it. And I think that kind of kills you in a way, right? If you finish something, you feel so good about yourself. So I would say read, do lots of thinking, and work on small projects you can finish. And I guess that would be my advice.
Whew, amen. I'm with you. Wow. Yeah, that's really interesting. Neil Gaiman said something similar, where like he said when he writes, he has to at one point he would just go to a hotel room and clear everything out except for a pad of paper and a pencil. So his only option was that eventually he's going to get bored, and he could do what was it? I forget how he phrased it. He couldn't do anything. He had to stay in the room for a certain amount of time. And he couldn't do anything, but if he felt like doing something, he could write. And eventually he'd get so bored, he'd start writing, and then he'd get into it, and he'd be able to finish something. But it was only by, taking the screens away, taking away all those distractions, and just getting in a mental space where he could do that.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think you can work if you've got your phone dinging beside you every 2 seconds. It's just like, and even scientifically, they've said that it takes so much time, like 10 minutes or 15 minutes, to get back into your zone, right? And I love my zone. I love it when I'm really like totally focused. It's like one of my favorite things. Like, and you must feel like that too when you're totally focused and really excited about doing something and working on it. It's like this great special thing, and I think it takes practice to get there.
Yeah. No, that's good. And I like what you said about finishing something small, working your way up. That's wonderful for kids, for adults, for anybody. We all need that. Thank you.
So I've started the embroidery that takes like 3 months to finish against my own advice, but I guess that's something different. But yeah, no, I do. I feel like finishing is really important. I think it is. It makes you feel good about yourself, and if you feel good about yourself, you can do more things. You know,
right.
the world's hard enough without you feeling bad about yourself. So
yeah. Oh, you are wonderful. The kids just must go crazy over you, man.
They're happy.
Where?
I love
Oh,
them.
sorry.
I said I love visiting them.
Yeah, I can tell. Man, hey, what is something? Where can we find you? And what is something expensive we can all buy from you?
Something expensive?
So you can, I don't know, some way we can get involved in your work, or something new we can pick up, or
I don't know. I guess I'm moving the thing because I think my son's got up, and I don't want him to be in that photo.
You're good.
I don't really have anything expensive. You know, I have my books, so you can purchase some of my books.
Yep.
And that's a great way to support somebody who makes books. I don't have an Etsy site. I don't sell anything. I was thinking about making some fashion kitty buttons, so I suppose if those go up, you could buy a fashion kitty button. But no, I don't really sell anything. I mean, I make books, and that's kind of the thing I do, and I don't really know at this point if I have another job. So, yeah, tell your friends to read one of my books. I guess that's the best thing.
Yeah. Okay. Wonderful. And I'll just show here on Instagram, just right there, Charise Harper. It's that easy. And she's been posting her embroideries lately, which is just wonderful to see. So thank you just so much again for taking the time to share your amazing skills and talents. You're wonderful, so I appreciate it.
Well, it's been fun. So hopefully we'll get to do this again.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Right.
Well,
good luck with
I
your
hope you have a great day.
too.
What's that?
I said good luck with your books too.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. Yeah. It's always fun to see, like, what's going to happen with this one. How are people
I know.
going to respond?
I love that feeling of anticipation, like this could be anything until you're squashed and they're like, I guess it's nothing.
Yeah,
but you know what? That happens to me too. So I think it's, everybody's got that. So, and it's kind of nice to know that everybody has it, because otherwise you feel like you're the only one and it's like, oh my God, what's going on? But, so there's probably super authors out there that write something and it's just like fantastic off the get go, but that's not me. So.
Yeah, same. Yep. Well, thank you again, and I hope you have a wonderful day, and I'm excited to see what you do next.
All right, Jess, have a great day.